Good morning, everybody. It's Kula Dula from RawStocks. We have another edition of our pre-market prep this morning, and we're going to be covering over everything that we see today. But I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look like a super exciting day like you think on a breakout day. We're going to cover everything. We're going to go over it all. So stand by, because I think there's some definite opportunities to make some money today. Okay, so before we get started, let me just go ahead and do a quick shout out to the sponsors, Black Box Stocks and GammaEdge. Without those guys, we would not be able to provide this data to you every single day. So big shout out to them. Make sure you go support them with the links in my bio, on the description on YouTube. Anywhere you see this, you should be able to find it on our profile. Be links there. So shout out to those guys. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so yesterday we saw an attempt on the S&P to break over that 6,500 level that we've been talking about for weeks. We've talked about it, and finally we got it. All right, so 6,500's hit. Now what? Well, if we don't see any type of continuation over the top of this, I do think that we'll find ourselves chopping for a little bit. And like I said, I didn't really see us surpassing 6,500 at any type of continuation level until we saw virtually the end of the month close, right? So that's kind of my take on it, is that we're probably going to chop here. Call speculation still remains positive, and we'll go over that. So as you can see, nice little bounce off our volume weighted moving average here. And is this going to be distribution? Will this be a chop day today? And then we start to see distribution over the top of it. We'll see. Like I said, I think we're going to be hung up here. I don't forecast us to get anything over this. Monday, the market's closed, and this will likely just leave us at a chop here and have a deciding factor for us next week. Okay, so we're going to glance at all that. Let's take a look at the data real quick. So full complex on the S&P, you can see there's still plenty of call speculation to the upside here, so sentiment remains bullish. As we use this 6,500 area for a wall, once we break through that, we will see a follow through, most likely up to 6,550. And at that point, right now that's the first target. But we do have some upside potential towards 6,600, but 6,550 is definitely the upside potential there. Okay, so if we take a glance into next week, short week next week, you can see that there's a couple different targets here. We're still remain call dominated overall for the week. 6,400 definitely looks like has that potential. Let's say floor, right? So as we look at this, you can say 6,500 to 6,400 remains kind of the range for us until we see us break above 6,500. Yesterday's close doesn't count. Okay, we need to see a nice move over the top of that, and at this point in time, we're seeing a pullback. All right, so need to take a look at that. Need to understand that that's going to be a barrier for us right now, and until we get over the top of that, that can induce some chop, and that's kind of what I'm expecting today. All right, when we look at today's data here, you can see 6,500 remains a humongous wall with a large net gex, positive net gex here, and this is where you could say 6,500 to 6,465, just a absolute chop zone here. You break over the top of 6,500, then so be it, but I'm not so positive we're going to do that today. Okay, as we take a look at our day trading chart to update this, which I already did, you can see that 6,500 remains the wall. Our positive gamma support lies down here at 6,475 and 6,470. So this area down here, anywhere between 6,475 and 6,465, is a buy the dip zone. All right, you're looking for this to try to push back up towards 6,500. Currently, we're opening up near this low here. Okay, so that puts us right smack in the zone you don't want to buy, right? This is not an area where you want to buy. The only thing that I could potentially tell you to look at is if we run off of this low towards 6,500, you're going to make an attempt for a short back down towards this range and see if we can buy this up and try to make that push back, okay? So yesterday we talked about this, the drop right down to our level, 64.65, and then I said, don't be surprised to see this. Well, I'm telling you again, don't be surprised to see this. All right, this is the exact move from yesterday. We talked about it. This was it, right? We said, all right, watch this. And I said, don't be surprised. Well, guess what? Rinse and repeat, baby. There might be a sell down from here. Okay, I want to be very clear. There's a potential that we open, say, right near this range, right on this, right here, okay, and see if this thing wants to drop and pop, all right? Doing so gives us that little head and shoulders again, right, in this range. You need to be cognizant of that's likely going to probably play out. If that would happen early, I wouldn't expect this to happen late, okay? So your early move is up and down, and you're looking to buy the dip in this range, and you're looking for it to recover back up towards that 6,500 range. I think we get a close near this 6,500. If we run directly through 6,500, I would imagine that this right here would be our supply near the 6508 area, and we'd find ourselves potentially rechecking 6,500. At that point would be where we'd likely get the extension bounce off of 6,500. So keep an eye on that zone right there. If we break over the top of it, check our supply, watch for 6,500 to get a recheck, and you're looking to go long off of that and holding over the top of 6,500. If we don't hold over the top of 6,500, you cannot stay in that, okay? You cannot stay in that because this thing could come flying back down towards this range. All right? So under 6,500, let's say you come up here and visit here and you're under 6,500, feel free to enter in a short and look to see if this thing wants to fall back down towards 64.70, 64.75. Otherwise, just treat this as a potential chop day, okay? Let's say, for example, we come and roll off of here and we find the bounce, right? This is likely to play. But I imagine we're probably just going to chop here all day. We might have a couple big sells, people saying we can't break it, whatever. It's likely to close at 6,500 today. That's just my bet on the day. SPY has confluence for the most part. I'm not going to pull it up today. Unnecessary in my opinion, based on the data I saw. NVDA. Okay, everybody's beloved NVIDIA earnings this week that were going to make the markets dump or fly, sat there and didn't do a damn thing, okay? I want to talk about this in the sense that we are still very bullish on NVIDIA, okay? The data has not changed. There is nothing here that would indicate that we're going to be selling off. No one's positioned that way. So big dud on earnings. This is one of those opportunities where you say, hey, they stall out everybody for the week of earnings, and then you start to see it start to push up. I think that has potential, okay? I think that has great potential, to be honest with you. So as we get into this area, you start to see positive gamma support on NVIDIA down towards this 177.5 and 175. That area you can see would be your buy the dip for a potential expansion into the weeks to come. Looking at this, 180 is a huge wall, right? 180 is a huge wall. Can we break over the top of it? I think next time we break over 180, that is likely to lead us into the next expansion. And can that happen today? Potentially. But I find it really unlikely that we see that happen today. All right. Look at today's data. You can see there's some overhead shorts on NVIDIA. And so there's going to be some pressure, right? There's going to be some pressure. And 170 has a tremendous amount of support. So I want you to take note of a couple things. We are still interested in this over 177.5 and at 175 for a potential bounce, okay? So if this thing says slips 177.5 here, would not be surprised to see this drive all the way down towards 175. At 175, I will be taking a position, most likely to see if we can make that move up towards 190 into the following week. There's a chance that this thing slips 175 and heads to 170, where we know that a large amount of support is today. And we know that looking into next week, excuse me, that there's still support here. Okay. I know this doesn't look great. Like we could slide into 160. But this is our floor here, 170. So there's an opportunity for that to happen. I think we all need to know that it has potential, but still remains to the upside on the full complex here. Very bullish, but that would be the buy the dip opportunity for everybody right there at 170. Very strong net delta here. We run it down, and then they look to push this back up towards 180, and then potentially get the expansion into 185 and 190. All right. So you keep the position small here at 175, and then if you need to, this is really where you get into a full size position, and then look for that to push towards 180 and break through 180 for a potential move up towards 190 to 200. All right. So it's not financial advice, clearly, but that's my game plan. All right. As far as today goes, if we hold 177.5 at open, because I'm positive that this thing's probably going to sell and check this level right here, right? This is going to run off of here and likely attempt 180. At 180, we're going to find ourselves either chopping or popping back down towards 175. All right. And I think it's more likely that we find this move here than we do anything else today on NVIDIA. I don't think we'll slip. I do not think we'll slip, but if we do, I will be buying the dip at 175. I'm not thrilled about buying the 175 to 177.5 to 180, mainly because the pricing on the contracts. If we say sit here at 177.5 for some reason for a while before we make that move up there, I think you could get torched. So just be cautious. Okay, we spent some time here stuck at 177.5. We spent a little bit of time here. So this has happened. All right. So be careful for that. Just know, hey, if it ain't moving, it ain't moving. Time to repo, or potentially look for that repo. And in Tesla, another narrow range for today, 350 to 340. Virtually all we got today. You got this little head and shoulders here, right? That people might be talking about. So you might see this move today. All right. So this is the best opportunity, I think, for most people here. Watch for the 340 attempt, and you're looking to buy a position to try to rise towards 350. If we break through 340, I think this can really induce some selling and start to push us down towards 330. I don't know if that's going to happen. Let me rephrase this. I find that unlikely. I find that we will hold 340 and look to see if this thing wants to just swipe the low and see if it wants to push up. I thought it was going to happen yesterday, virtually right here at this 343 area, right? This low here. I said, oh, we're going to hit here, and then we're going to make a new low, and then we can look for it. I think it has potential to go today, but if we're being honest, right, we're in positive gamma support here. This thing could run up just from here, from 350. But based on the tight range we have today at 350 to 340 on Tesla, that I consider that tight on Tesla, you don't want to be stuck buying a call here, okay? Especially with your little liquidity sweep here, and then we'll find this thing potentially pushing back down. I'm just not a big fan of buying, say, this 345 hold. If anything, if you're really just dying to get in, you're positive that's going to 350. I think this a plan like this can whoa. 344 and a half, or let's just go, yeah, 344 right here. That's about the best I could say you could get, and that is not a fantastic risk versus reward, especially if you're playing options. But shares, it's not terrible. Okay, it is not terrible. You can look for this thing right in this range, 284. It's not a terrible play, but you know how I like to do it. I like to buy in the fringe. It's very black and white that way. All right, there's no ifs, ands, anything. You buying down here at 340, and you're looking to see if this thing wants to rise back up. You can even buy at our positive gamma support here, and this is not a bad play. All right, you're looking for this really to hold. If you're trying the 342 and a half, you're really looking for this thing to try to get up for you. Okay, and chances are it's more so like this, and you can play it like this, right? But you might trigger your stop quite a bit. Let's just put it that way. All right. So that is coverage on Tesla, NVDA, and the S&P. Today, based on what I'm seeing, I'm not going to cover an additional ticker. This is going to be it today. I think we're geared up to be a chop day. Small range day, however you want to look at it, inside day, okay, on the S&P. I don't foresee us really getting much juice today. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Okay, so just know that. Find your early moves and then get off today. There's no reason to sit here and watch chop. It might be tight chop. If you get range chop, then okay. You know, that's fine. Play the range chop. But if we just get small chop, yeah, you're going to get burned today. So look for your early move. Look for our early areas of entry or shorting, right? And then look to see if you can pocket some money off it and just hang it up. So I'm looking to probably make 1 or 2 plays in the morning, and then I'm going to be done. I'm going to be sized up a little bit than I like to do, but that's it. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure you subscribe, like the channel. Just hit all the things. You know what to do. All right, hit all of them. If you guys are interested in trading with us, we are RawStocks LLC.com, RawStocks I also have links in my bio to make it easy for you. No need to do anything more than that. So hopefully everybody has a great weekend, and until next week, we'll catch you later.